You know what's the best thing about driving this Maybach? I just realized that it costs the same to wash this car as it is if you were to be washing a Perodua Bezza. So how does the Maybach feel? To be very, very honest, the thing is this car, they pay full taxes. Okay, this is not locally assembled, unlike the S class, the S400 hybrid, locally assembled, and they get tax incentives. So this car ended up being about 800,000-900,000 ringgit more than an S class. But in terms of the drive, if I put aside the engine, because this is a 4-liter V8, 491 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. So in that sense, this is a lot more powerful, but it's not 800,000 worth of difference. This is only for those who wanted the epitome of Mercedes-Benz luxury, you know. Okay, now that's the 7 Series, and if this were an S-Class, it would have been comparable, right? But this is a Maybach, and people know that this S-Class somehow looks different, somehow is longer, they might not realize it's that much more expensive. Okay, so in terms of the drive, I wouldn't say that there is a huge difference, because at the end of the day, this is still an S-Class underneath, but you have 8 inches of wheelbase that is lengthened. So this car is a lot longer than a regular long wheelbase S-Class. We only have the long wheelbase over here. We don't sell the short wheelbase. Alright, but to be honest, the kind of roads that you will feel the difference in terms of the dynamics of both cars are not the kind of roads that you will bring an S-Class even. So if you were to bring this car to Uluyam, then only you can tell that, hey, after I turn my steering wheel, the front end moves, and before the rear moves, I can make it back on time without the rear actually changing its track. So yeah, that's the thing with a long wheelbase car, an extremely long wheelbase car, for Malaysia at least, or Asia at least. Okay, you Americans, you have your crazy long limos and all that. But the difference that I'm looking for isn't just, you know, the beautiful Napa leather that covers the whole dash, or in the S-Class, this part is leather, but underneath this is actually plastic. But on this one is leather and leather and wood and leather and leather and leather and leather, Alcantara, wood, leather, everywhere is leather. Very high quality stuffs. But in terms of how the suspension responds to road impurities and all that, right, I see no major difference with a normal S-Class. That would have two meanings. First would be the S-Class is already extremely impeccable when it comes to this. The other one would be, maybe, given that what forms the underlying platform of this car, there can't be too much of a difference. Alright, oh, there's a 488 GTB behind me. 488. Go, go, go. 3.9 V8. No sound. He was accelerating there, and then it's like, where's the sound? What about this one? That's what you get, and that's what you don't get, be it in a 730 Li or 740 Li or an S400 hybrid. The kind of waft, the kind of smooth acceleration when you put your throttle down, you know. To be honest, I was expecting it a little bit more difference when it comes to the ride quality. Even though this is already really good, I was expecting that. And another thing I noticed after an extended period of driving is that this cabin is so quiet that as I move my hand across the steering wheel, now I'm not sure if this can be picked up from the speaker, from the microphone of that, but as I glide my palms, can you hear that? I'm not sure if you're able to pick that up. You know, there's a reason why certain luxury cars, they use gloss finish wood on the steering column, on the not on the steering wheel, because of this. I mean, this is very nice leather, but of course, as a driver, you wear gloves and then you'll be quiet. For if not, you'll be hearing all this. And because the cabin is so quiet, this thing becomes amplified. And I'm like, yeah, I see, as I move my palms across, I keep hearing this, and I'm like, maybe I need a glove. Maybe. Even though it's awkward for someone like me, you know, to be sitting in the driver's seats, you'd be like, oh, this driver having his off day, is it driving his boss's car out or something like that? But I can't help but wonder, actually, if I only have like a wife and 2 kids, right, and I want to give them absolute comfort, and as a big family car, it works. It truly works, because it's just so spacious, so comfortable, so nicely appointed, that there aren't many things around this price point that gives you this kind of comfort. If you think about it, even if you go for a Lexus LS, right? I mean, that car's rear leg room isn't even comparable to this, right? And then you think about, for 1 million plus, you can get a Panamera of some sorts. No, that car is a 4-door sports car. It will not be able to give you the kind of comfort that this car gives. Alright, so it's only the S classes, the 7 Series, and then you have this, and this one, it makes up for the specs, it makes up for the engine, it makes up for everything that goes behind there. And this Mercedes gear stock, once you're used to it, right, it's so damn convenient. You don't even need to shift your hand over. All you need is just one push. Alright. Hi guys, this is the S560 Maybach. It's not your usual S-Class. No, it's not. Let us quickly go through the features. And this is based on the facelifted new S-Class. So you can see the headlight clusters are different, right? These are what Mercedes call the multi-beam LEDs, or they call it high definition or something like that. But basically it just looks glorious, okay? 3 stripes there, and then these individual elements, they all look fantastic. But of course, in the S-Class Coupe, or the Coupe, you get those with the little Swarovskis inside. Right, now this is a Maybach. See that? Okay, now a lot of us car enthusiasts would know that a while ago Mercedes actually established the brand, the Maybach brand, and at that time they have the Maybach 57 and then the Maybach 62. Okay, but sales wasn't that good, so upon rationalizing the lineup, they integrated Maybach into the Mercedes brand. So now you have Mercedes AMG for the performance models, and then for the top range S-Class, you have Mercedes-Maybach. Maybe we'll see Mercedes extending the Maybach range into the other models, but then so far now it's just the S-Class, and what a long S-Class this is. Okay, the entire front fascia is different. You get these horizontal slabs inside in gloss black, but then the vertical ones are the gloss one that makes up the impression that you see the car. And then down here you have this grille. It also, I mean, it's very cleanly designed, and it sort of connects underneath there, crosses over here. Now this is a very unique paint job. This paint, right, it looks dull at first, but then you notice it's deep gloss. There aren't a lot of flaky stuffs going on the surface of this paint, but the finishing of this paint, when you're standing near it, right, is so good. The paint finishing of this car is extremely good. These are not the kind of paint that you get from your under the tree kind of, you know, paint shop. You have to go back to Mercedes for these. Now the wheels, these are satin chrome wheels. We see that in the Lexus LS, right? Very expensive wheels, very expensive. Okay, you don't want to get them nicked. And then you have the cover, the center hub cover on the wheels. You have a little Maybach logo over here. See that? And then these again are not your usual chrome surfacing. They feel different to the touch, you know. Very nice. They almost look like polished metal, but I don't think they are polished metal. They don't feel that cold or hot to the touch. Very nicely done here. Satin chrome, lovely. As you come to the rear, you will see the Maybach logo over here. S560, generally the same as any S-Class, apart from a little bit of detailing that goes around the car. Give you a walk around of this car now. Alright. The side is where you notice this one looks very different because it is extremely long. Do you notice the rear doors are actually longer than the front doors? Because even in the long wheelbase S-Class, that doesn't seem like it, right? And then this part here is where they extended it, the rear part. Okay, so this car is very long, 5.4 meters plus. Okay, and then you have a wheelbase that is more than 3 meters. And I'm surprised driving this around, it doesn't hit any speed bumps and all that. Very nice. Surprisingly, it has some Goodyear Eagle F1 tires, which are acceptable performance tires, I would say, but not top-end performance and not top-end luxury tires as well. Run flat tires. I mean, they're comfortable enough because the soundproofing of this car is really good. Alright, 20-inch wheels, and yeah, that's the front. When you activate the cameras, right, this lid actually popped up to reveal the camera, right? These are some of the little tricks that they have with this car. A lot of things actually move with this car. So here you have all the radar sensors and all that, the cameras up here, see the stereo cameras, a lot of sensors on this car, a lot of high-tech features. Of course, they can afford to put everything in because this car is more than 1.3 million, or was it 1.4 million? Okay, not sure. Alright, so in terms of exterior, it looks understated solely because there are so many S-Classes running around. But if you were to ask me in this segment, the Audi A8, the S-Class, the 7 Series, right, I still think the S-Class carries that theme the best. The kind of stately feel, business, executive, luxury, all in. You know, you don't want to be too understated, too dull, right? You don't want to be too extravagant. this hits just the right spot. Okay, let's come in, start from the front so that I can start the car. Alright, now in terms of the basic architecture of this car, everything comes off the S-Class. Oops, forgot to show you the mechanical part where the door pulls it in. Alright, I mean, I wouldn't call it vacuum doors already, because they don't use vacuum pumps to lower the air pressure inside the cabin so that pushes the door in and all that. They don't do that anymore. It's just a mechanical latch that pulls the door in now. Alright, have a look here. You have the Burmester speakers, but these are not the top spec. Top spec, you have a tweeter that spins out. But again, this is a Maybach. I believe you can spec anything you like as long as you can afford it, right? And every single detail, every single surface of this car was designed. Even the door locks. Mercedes somehow still retain this, and look at the little stuff that goes on there. Very nice, right? Seats are, infinitely adjustable. Everything moves, the headrest and all that. The support, everything feels great. All right, the door handles as well. It feels very comfortable. It's just nice, because Mercedes moved the controls over here so that, as you see here, your seat can be made very wide and it almost approaches the door panels. They don't need you to slot your hand underneath to control anything. Alright, everything is up here. See that? Everything is up there. So, and over here, let's lower the air volume. This is crazy. In most cars, this one to basically turn on and off the air vents is a plastic flap behind. You twist it, then the flap closes. This one is not. This is electronic, and there is an electronic solenoid in there that controls the thing. So when you off it, it slowly closes or slowly opens, so the air gradually reduces. Class and sophistication, but you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or basically that's what you get with luxury cars, right? Sophistication in places where you never notice, right? These are some of the features, and you have, look at the moon over there. This is, when I push it, it's actually night vision. Okay, crazy, right? This car has night vision. And look at the transition of the graphics. Mercedes does their graphics really well. Look at that. The graphics processor and the thoughts that comes into it. Most cars, when they do LCD screens, right, they just, you press something and then the whole thing just changes immediately. But Mercedes gives you that kind of gradual sensation. This is sophistication over there. All right, the lane departure controls, everything is over here. Somehow the blind is over here. I would have expected the blind to be somewhere down here, but somehow it's over there. All right, here you have buttons, activate the sensors, drop the headrest for the rear seats. Oh, it's already dropped. Oh, okay, now it's up. Now it's going down. Anyway, there are no indications there. This whole design looks really good, but again, like most Mercedes, the volume is over here because it used to be a left-hand drive car. Left-hand drive car, the driver has the volume control, the passenger would have their volume control over here, but Mercedes just keep the whole thing lock, stock, barrel from the left-hand drive version. They didn't change it, the orientation. All right. Now this dial is not the same as your dial in C-Class, even though it looks the same, or E-Class for that matter, right? Why would I say so? Now, I'm not sure if I'm able to capture the whole view, right? Let's count how many options we have over here. All right. So as I move to the last bit, this is the last option. I can no longer turn the dial. See? Wait. I can't turn anymore. As I turn here, again, I can't turn anymore. If there are only 3 options, let's see, Bluetooth devices. Oh, there's a lot of options over there. Basically, if there are only 2 options on the screen, I can only turn the click twice, tuck, tuck, and then some form of clutch or whatever catches it and prevents me from turning again. You don't get that in a C-Class, right? This is sophistication right there. Only Mercedes does things like that, seriously. And then apart from a click wheel, you have a touchpad as well that allows you to scroll through things. Basically, in terms of input options, you can do it from the steering wheel, you can do it from the other 2, and it's very functional, very easy. But in terms of how the menu is laid out, how things are grouped, you need some time to actually go through it. But generally, now that cars are so sophisticated, you need some time to learn everything either way. This one controls the left screen, this one controls the right screen. Very logical. And they made one large panel and housed 2 screens inside, and it looks like one gigantic screen. Alright. You have an IWC clock here. Look at that. IWC Schaffhausen. And then all these buttons feel great, you know. They're all from the S-Class anyway. So in the S-Class, you have this leather panel over here with the same pattern, and then you have plastic underneath. But then in the Maybach, it's leather underneath as well. And this open pore wood looks absolutely beautiful. Now, not everybody would love this combination of cabin, but I like it because there are different color tones. You know, the top is a brown color that mimics this, and then it sort of gels in this grey leather. Everything looks great. Understated, but there is a certain touch of class there. Okay. Inside here, you have a glove box that has dual layer, and then you see that again that only Mercedes-Benz offers, a beautiful perfume. Right, you can buy perfume from Mercedes and slot it in, and it will route through your aircon. You get that with a C-Class as well. These are things that sets them apart from giving you the kind of luxury feeling. Remember, every time I review Mercedes, okay, let me open this to get some light in. See, this is different from your C-Class or E-Class. This one is covered in felt, but the ones in your C or E is just that, you know, that glossy, a little bit of nasty kind of plastic inside here. All right. This one is interesting. You press this, and then do you notice it brightens up? Let me show you again. I'm sure you can see a part of this and a part of that. Now I press again. So what that is that this glass, actually the particles of that glass, right, once they run electric current through, it can straighten them and let light in. See that? Only Mercedes-Benz have this feature. Crazy, but it's awesome. When you buy a luxury car, you want things like that, right? And you can push this out, and then this. Why? Because in Europe, the sun during summer times is no joke. Sometimes they come from the side so low down the horizon, but they're still so strong. All right. So that's the front part of the cabin. The whole thing feels great. See it move? Yeah. I mean, again, Mercedes does that. It gives you the kind of feeling whereby, you know, it hugs you a little bit after you put on. Now, there's one thing I want to show you. See this little microphone here? All right. This allows the front passenger to talk to the rear passenger with the assistance of the speakers. I kid you not. Can you hear it? So, without us knowing it, we can speak softly up front, and then the rear passengers will be able to hear us. That is class. Alright. This one, another Mercedes invention. They started this. Okay, it opens dual way, so left or right passenger, you get an easy access. Okay, I'm going to show you the features down here. So this car, if your phone has NFC, you don't need to go through the Bluetooth pairing process. Just touch your phone here, boom, it hooks up. This one is a wireless charger. So if your phone is equipped with wireless charging, you can just drop your phone here and then it starts charging. Okay, see that? Starts charging. But sometimes when you brake, it slides a little bit because this is not big enough for a Note. I mean, back in 2012 when they designed the S-Class, phones hasn't gotten that big yet, I suppose. Alright, you have two USB slots here, SD card slot, and a rather small space to store things. I wonder why. Alright, sorry. This one here is interesting. In the S-Class, they used to have a lid that you can slide open and close, but because that lid always gets caught on and it becomes a hassle for them, now it becomes this little 12-volt socket compartment, and this, I don't know what is this for kind of compartment. You can put your keys here, but still it's an add-on. You can still see the rails over here, right? So yeah, there's no longer anything here that allows you to slide open or close. It's just cup holders there now. Alright, let's move to the back. That's where the party happens, right? That's the back seat. They should have a door lock. I don't want anyone to rob me while I'm sitting in the boss seat. Oh my god, this is so comfortable. This cushion. Damn. Can I stop working? It's so nice behind here. Oh. How do I switch on the lights? Okay. Yep. I get some lights. So this is not the boss seat. The boss seat is actually this one. See, I don't even need to move the seat or whatsoever. You see, my legs are fully stretched out. I can already enjoy myself at the back here. Alright, it is extremely comfortable. I tell you, sitting behind here, you don't want to go anywhere else. See, now, so what the Maybach allows you to do is that even without moving the front seats, that's my driving position. That is my driving position there. Even without moving that, I couldn't touch the front seats. I mean, barely touch the front seats with my legs. I am 5'11", right? So let me put on my seat belts. And I love the fact that the seatbelt is routed through the car, the seat, so that it's not on the pillar, whereby if I lie down lower, it's gonna, be higher up here. So the whole thing is routed through this, so that it follows the contour, right? And it's so comfortable here because the whole arm, the whole surface over here is all leather, covered in leather, and it's so comfortable. I tell you, no joke. As expected, you have some I don't know why they always put refrigerator. I mean, it's a fridge, not just a chiller. I mean, maybe it's just a chiller. You can just chill your drinks, your champagne, the cliche thing, your champagne, But I don't know, maybe they can put a coffee maker or something. Of course, you get the tray. Ugh. Oh yeah, you get the tray. Alright, this is crazy. Just the engineering of this alone. Damn. And they even took the effort to cover this part in leather. Alright, and then inside here you get 4 USB ports. Down there, those are 5 volts. Those are fast charging USB ports. Very good there. And an HDMI slot and some space for your stuff. And then this one over here is another add-on thing. It looks so ugly, so out of place. but they just added on for convenience, because this is the part where you can put your phone to charge and you can still operate it. You can still basically see some stuffs over there. And I think it's very helpful, because a lot of times when we use wireless charging, it's not that practical because we cannot take the phone up and do something or just check some notifications and all that. But this one you can, because it's at an angle. Right? This entire center console is too big for the purpose that it serves. Okay, you have a small compartment over here. You have a rather hard to reach 12-volt socket, just one 12-volt socket that occupies this entire panel, and then with a lid, and then you have this, and then you have this bigger or smaller cup, and then you can cool it or warm it or turn it off. That's it. That's it. So this entire thing in the middle, the size of it, the heft of it, is there to serve only 2 cup holders and a bag of chips, maybe. Yep. So I find it, but this is an add-on. I mean, we know that it's an add-on. Now this part here, remember in a lot of reviews they always say that this part looks not that expensive in an S-Class, but in the Maybach it's different, right? You get a piece of nicely finished wood panel, and then I wonder if this has the solenoid as well. Oh yes. Slowly, gradually reduces. Then you have the buttons over here. So it's alright. I mean, you can't compare it to the 7 Series, because the 7 Series has a pad over here that you can control without even lifting up. You know, some bosses are so fat that just to lift up they go like, right, the muscles start shivering. Alright, and you have aircon vents over here, and this one you can control with this. Right, it runs off the sides. Yeah. Can you hear the sound? I'm sure you can hear the motor, right? Yeah. Let me tell you this, the one in the Lexus LS is silent. When this operates, it's silent. But still, that's how you feel like in a car that is 1/1,000,000. Even this one, look at this, is covered in leather, and the top part here is some rubberized material that feels good to the touch. Alright, grippy and nice. So yeah, in the back of a Maybach is, I feel rich. Alright, you have any questions, do ask me. But I still think, even though the basic architecture of this design was since 2012, it still look absolutely beautiful. Right, the design, the class, the sophistication is still a class above. I think Mercedes really hit a home run with their interior design language in this new generation of products. Alright, so what's the next car I will review? Maybe a G63. Alright guys, cheers.